Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Primal Europe Friday Criterium today on this June 2nd, 2017. Riders are just starting to get out onto the piers from the start finish banner. On this race today, they'll be doing the figure 8 course. It looks like, according to my broadcast up above me here, and then it looks like there's 2 laps in the Friday Criterium D race as well. We'll be trying to cover that a little bit, but it's going to be a different course. I'm not sure what course they're on for that, but I believe it's going to be 1 lap of the figure 8 for this main group of A, B, and C riders, and then there is a D category race that we are hanging out in right now. As you can see here, I'll go ahead and head over to the piers really quickly so that you guys can see what I'm talking about there. But they are hanging out, getting ready to go. 20.7 kilometers for that race. Let's go ahead and see. So they're hanging out, getting ready to go. They have a separate race now for the D category, but the A's have gotten out on course and they are starting their race. Oh, look at that. The title goes right on over. It does not trigger off. Hopefully that'll go away. Okay, so it doesn't mess up the trigger. That's good. All right, so they are heading off onto the underground right now for the Ocean Boulevard section of the figure 8. So about to hammer away through here. And the D's are riding the flat course. All right, so 2 laps of the flat course. Thank you so much, Martin. Appreciate the information there. We do have a lead group that has separated itself in this Primal Europe Friday crit already as they took this left-hand turn onto Ocean Boulevard. So it does look like a good contingent, actually, of the race promoters team have gotten into this initial break. We do see Shuttler in there as well as Stockvik. Actually, quite a few names in this A, B, C group that have all gotten together, but I think it's going to be Grupo Compacto as usual through the underground over toward the uphill of the reverse Watopia, where things will really start to heat up as far as it goes to the intensity of the effort out there on Watopia right now. If you're new to the world of Zwift racing, this is a massive multiplayer online game that riders are actually putting the effort, the control of their avatars in through pure power that is going out through their legs right now into actual bikes, actually, that is putting out the wattage that you're seeing in the upper left-hand corner for the avatar of the person we have selected. So right now we got A Shuttler here coming out of the UK, riding for Team TFC in that yellow kit. Let's see if we can get a good shot of the Team TFC CRCA. There it is, kit right now that they're using in game, and hammering away at about 381 watts, 148 beats per minute though. So good to see a nice contingent of the TFC boys out there. And on the right hand side though, then you can see the country flag that each one of the riders are from. You can see the current watts per kilogram they're holding for their body weight, actually. You can also see what team they are registered, well, they are riding for, if they do have a team in the brackets. TFC, KRT are seeing ODZ. Brett Boniface showing up today. Haven't seen Brett in a little while, as I think he's been racing in real life, so good to see him showing up to a race out here today. We also see in the feed there on the right hand side quite a few others from unattached, but then a few others that are from some other teams. We do have Vision Cycling here with Mr. Quentin Lefay. I think I saw Adam Webb. Termont's in here as well, coming out of Belgium, riding for Vision Cycling. Looks like Casey Shum maybe just hanging out today and not going for a race type ride. Looks like he might have already raced prior to this. I think, does the PRS go off before this race or does it go off after this race? But maybe getting a warm up or going out for a stroll, as he's just hanging out, it looks like, with another rider who's not a part of the race, actually. Good to see Casey though. Team Experimental in the house. I thought I saw one other Team Experimental boy up toward the front of the race just a moment ago. Yep, but it will be Mr. Kim Little himself, who I'll be seeing very soon over in London. I'm super excited to see him again as we met up in Vegas for the first round of that CVR World Cup. So Casey is failing the triple. Gotcha. So a triple. Oh my goodness. Good to see you there, Casey. hanging out in the Twitch channel as well. So now we do have the first little kick here coming from Kim Little. Adam Webb as well is following very closely there. Bailey Burton, and then Adrian Timmis from Cadence Sports here, ex-Tour de France rider, making this break. And as we saw, it was a large contingent of riders, A, B, and C riders, but as you can see now, it is starting to break apart with this just a little 3% gradient. But you know, these boys at the front end, the pointy end of this race, have a huge amount of power to kick. So it does look like we have about 15 riders about to start the D category race, just so everybody knows. They'll be getting going here in about 5, 4, 3, and 2, 1 seconds. And I'm going to go ahead and get in with the start of their race as they begin to take off. We'll make sure to follow them up for their 2 laps on the flat course as well. It does look like we have C. Cosper here, M. Sayers, J. Savage, Knowles in there as well. A.R.E. Jones is there, Stevenson, Dean, and Smith. They don't, so we'll definitely try and check in with the lead group of this D category race as they make their way around the course for sure. Oh no, and it sounds like Kim Little, who's actually in our chat over at the Twitch right now, says he just dropped a chain. Dropped a chain. How do you drop a chain? Get the team car going here, boys and girls. Team Experimental off the back before they even hit the Watopia. Reverse. I wonder if we'll have a Doomlin type situation here, or if they're going to wait up for Mr. Kim Little, or will there be an attack? Who's going to push the pace at the front? Looks like Bailey full on Quintana style at the front of the race now. And will they hold up, or will they push the pace? No, it doesn't look like anybody's holding up at this point. And the Mr. Kim Little is going to have to chase all out from the get-go here. Kim Little says that's my excuse. Oh my goodness. And so hopefully Kim almost back on terms. Looks like he's going to do it, as he had to put out a solid 7 watts per kilogram. So we'll see if he can hang on to the pace here. If you didn't notice though, on the lower right-hand corner, to my left, but to the broadcast right, questions or comments can be tweeted at Z Community Live. And make sure to bring them at us at Z Community Live. We'll bring you in through our social media integration, and would love to have any of your questions or comments coming right on at us. Jonathan Noblet says, racing with Primal. Oh my gosh, this is such a great pick here coming through from Twitter. Johnny giving us an example of how to make it happen. Go Zwift racing with Primal Europe Team TFC for story time at Zwift Community Live. What a great pick there. Johnny, do you have never mind. We'll just leave that one alone. But oh my goodness, great shot there with the family, hanging out, watching the broadcast. Absolutely love it there. And so it looks like Johnny knows how to make the Twitter happen. And then it looks like James Smith always bringing through the live broadcast, kicking off in 15 minutes. Thanks a lot, James, for bringing that through, and a couple retweets around that as well. So it looks like Richard Morehouse saying, wife left me holding the baby tonight, so no racing for me tonight. Richard, good to see you in the broadcast, though, as well as Nick Preston. Good to see you, too. So thanks, everybody, for joining in over at the Facebook as well as everybody over at the Twitch channel, too. Roger says, be right back. Dinner. So dinner looks to be more important. Make sure to bring it back to the broadcast, or just put it up on the big screen over at dinner and have the whole family join in, maybe. So here we go with Bailey now. Burton, Marcher, Webb, Giron as well. Little has gotten back on terms, letting that heart rate come down, it looks like, and settle in 152 beats per minute. A match was definitely burned to get on terms with the pack, though. Quentin LaFay with Ford and Shuttler. Looks like Team ODZ with Brett E is in here as well. Where is Boniface? Has he been able to stick with this group? I would be surprised if not. He's one of the favorites, I would say, today to jump into this race and win it. We'll see if he can pull it off here. Brett found us 164 beats per minute coming out of Canada for Team ODZ. Dorito there as well out of the US of A. This is going to be the moment of truth, though, for the front group. Who is going to make it and who is going to break at this point? A newer rider Espinel for Team ODZ riding out of Canada. Must be a friend, maybe a Boniface. We'll have to see. I've not seen this rider too many times before, so maybe watch out for where he's going to end up finishing up. Says he's a B category rider. We'll see if he's able to hang on with these A and B boys over the top of this climb as they make their way into the initial suffering on the reverse Watopia right now. We do see up at the front here Bailey now, TFC, hammering away in this A category, 140 beats per minute, looking very comfortable with that low heart rate. Kim Little now, not too many matches burned. Is he going to be the first one to the front end of the pack here as they make their way over this 4.5567% gradient, and it is 7.7 watts per kilogram. Webb now up to that 8.4. Jirion now up to that 7.3 watts per kilogram. Absolutely killing it now. Let's see who's up at the back here, and it looks like it will be Chingo now, not unable to hang on to the group. Bailey now just falling off, and it looks like maybe a dropout 0.5, 0.6, 21 RPMs. What is going on? Definitely some difficulty here for D. Bailey out of the US of A, and he's going to need the team car from TFC. TFC, get that team car going as he's just hanging out at the back now. No movement whatsoever there for a second. TFC now falling like flies one by one, but it does look like we are going to have Burton here from TFC able to hang on, but it's going to be Webb up at the front here trying to make a break as Kim Little's following very closely. Marcher, Caden Sports, Burton, Boniface, Quentin LaFay from Vision Cycling, they're able to get right back onto the wheel, and it will be Giron, and then it looks like Tinga Mexicano along with R. Ford and Dorito. It looks like the Mr. YouTube here users able to maybe get back on terms in this B race with this group, forming a chase group of B riders. So A and B riders definitely forming a group here at the front end of the race now, with Caden Sports 5.3 watts per kilogram coming around, with Little following very closely. Marcher there, then Webb. Another attack from Marcher though, up and out of the saddle, 94, 91 RPM. No beats per minute actually though. Marcher does not have a heart rate monitor on, and I do not believe Marcher is actually Zada approved, so unable to go that way. And it looks like Jonathan Noblet saying a lot of CVR World Cup UK guys are racing today, and I didn't actually take notice of that. Interesting. Good point. And looking actually here, let's take a look at the lineup and see who is all in there. I am seeing Mr. Kim Little, Adrian Timmis, and then I don't see Joachim in there though. So I think Adrian Timmis and Kim are going to be the two. I'm not seeing Gavin Richardson. He did race yesterday, most likely is going to be taking it a little bit easier. So I think we got two in there that are going to be racing, unless I'm missing somebody. But here is the lineup coming up for the CVR World Cup on Tuesday. I'll be flying out on Sunday. A few people already on the planes coming from Australia. I know Shea Miller and Jeffrey are already on their way out. So Kim Little and Adrian Timmis for sure, the two that we could call out there as racing today that will be at the CVR World Cup coming up here. So Caden Sports is Timmis. Yes, Martin Jorvik, that is Adrian Timmis out there from Caden Sports. So 35 seconds is the gap now that these boys have made over the reverse Watopia climb. So this will be your lead group for the Watopia 8 today, figure 8 today. Solid effort here at the front from the instigators. Two Vision boys, one TFC boy along with Kim Little, one Team Experimental. Another drop chain or something. What's going on here? Kim Little just making it difficult for himself. 6.27 watts per kilogram at the worst moment that you could possibly have a dropout there. 161 beats per minute though. He has a little bit to work with, but he's going to have to go to get back on terms with the front end of this race. What's with all the dropouts here, Mr. Little? As he's going to have some sort of an arrow, I would think, to get back with these boys, as this is the highest speed moment of the race. To have a dropout at that moment is probably the absolute worst moment to have that happen. 40 miles per hour at the front. He's going to have to close it down at the flat, I think. I think that'd be the smartest thing to do. We'll see if he can make it happen. Boniface at the front, slowing things down a little bit now. 4.0 watts per kilogram, 39 miles per hour. Now Kim Little here, 40, 41 here. So definitely closing it down down little by little, but it's going to be very difficult to make that happen here. Webb now sitting in 1.8 at 122 beats per minute. Super chill. Boniface here 162 at the front. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in that D race, as we definitely have a front group at the front of this D race right now that we can take a look at real quickly. And it looks like in the D category race, we do have Sayers here. They are doing 2 laps of the flat course. They're about 9 minutes into the race. Sayers here, 3.9 watts per kilogram. Cusper now trying to just hang on with Cole. They're out of South Africa. Stevenson then with the chaser of Ari along with Savage in this D category race as well. 161 beats per minute coming from Savage here with 179 from Ari. Stevenson now, no heart rate coming from him out of the UK though, but then there is Coleo, no heart rate, no heart rate. We got to get these D category riders on board here with some heart rate monitors so that we got a little bit of information coming to know that everything is kosher. But we do got Cleo now trying to make that chase in with Stevenson, and then it will be Ari. Savage here now 160 beats per minute, trying to get back on terms with the front end of this D category group. So Noel here as well. A lot of times in the D category races, it is definitely a couple of riders one by one, but then it's this definite there's some larger discrepancies of whether or not people can make those initial dynamic kicks when people go. So you do end up into these solo TTs a lot of times in those D category races. So they are trying to hang on. Maybe Cosper over category limits. We'll have to see. It is a 2.5 watts per kilogram or less battle here that they should be in. But we do want to hype up a little bit that there is a separate category race now for the D category racers that would like to jump into that. So definitely jump in there and make that happen if you would like to in the D category race to be uninfluenced by all the rest of the A, B, and C racers out there on course. We do see Kim back on terms with the race now. And what is going on back here? Was there some sort of a hold up by some of the riders there? I'll have to wait and see. Thanks, Nathan. Go D riders. No problem, Carissa. No problem whatsoever. Trying to run in 10 times kickers for Tuesday. So lots of bike swaps. Kim Little is saying, wait, what is going on here? Are you swapping bikes a bunch right now in the middle of all this? Okay, so here we go at the front. Oh, okay. So you've been swapping a bunch of bikes, so you don't have, I got you. So you don't have the bike set up correctly, maybe? You have to give me an explanation there. I'm not sure what's going on. So looking here now, we do have Adam Webb now, 3.9 watts per kilogram toward the front. Boniface is there as well. It doesn't look like anybody's been dropped off. Only 40 seconds now back to the chase group of the B rider. I think it's all B riders, though, in this chase group. So this will be the battle in the Bs that's been separated out pretty well, actually. And it is all definitely letting the categories really shine for what they do in these races, as not any B-boys I could see in that lead A group able to make that dynamic power shift into the reverse Watopia climb. So Shuttler now 6.7 watts per kilogram, trying to hang on, but it will be Chingon now, Mexicano, hammering away for in the B category with Pinal from Team ODZ. Out of Canada there, able to hold on to the wheel. It is a 2-second gap back to Veal Crown as well as Shuttler. Garrido, then it will be the YouTube man there. Bailey off the back there, about 34 seconds after that dropout, holding off Brett E in no man's land TT mode now at this point for Team ODZ. Clayton now here from the C category. This will be, I believe, the lead C plus 2B minus made up his own category at 190 beats per minute. Nonconformist saying, I don't care what your categories are. I'm just going to make up my own C plus 2B minus. And Termont here in the B category. I'm unable to hang on maybe at the front end of the race where he usually is in the B category, maybe a dropout or something. But surprising here to see Termont off the back with Casey Shum, Nielsen, and then Clayton C plus 2B minus here in this group now at this point. Not sure what category that that is. It's definitely an interesting one. But now Clayton here, Marcher, 4.5 watts per kilogram, trying to get back on terms as there was an attack here from Webb and Boniface and Burton and Kim Little as well out of the Essies there. And it looks like it will be a lead group at this point that has 3 seconds over Giron. Looks like LaFay just barely able to get back on terms, 160 beats per minute. They're starting to form this lead group of what looks to be 6 riders of some of the strongest men out on Zwift. So Chris is now saying, I should have raced. I should know by now if I can manage to get myself on the bike in time. I rarely regret racing. I don't think we've established that category, Clayton. Chris is saying, I don't think so either. Definitely an interesting category that he's trying to promote out on course. C plus 2B minus, whatever that one happens to mean. So back into the B category, as this group is starting to establish itself, it looks like a few were able to get back on terms. So nobody going anywhere at this point as they're about to head back on Ocean Boulevard and then up and over the top of the Watopia forward climb for that race-winning move, most likely, as we usually see on the figure 8 course. We'll go back to the D category. I've seen a few of them in the solo TT mode. Cosper off the front by 10 seconds at this point out of the US of A. M. Sayers is there as well, 4.0 watts per kilogram. I think they will be a little over category limits and nicely be asked, I think, to jump into the C category perhaps. We'll have to take a look at ZwiftPower.com to see if that is true. But they're definitely having a solid effort here at the front end of this race right now. Ari now, it looks like, at a solid 3.5, now 5.2, kicking it into this little 2% gradient. It will drop back down most likely as they go onto the downhill section. Stevenson there, 3.0. Savage now out of the USA, 2.5 watts per kilogram. Looking at the Primal Europe Friday Criterium D race as well as the A race over at ZwiftPower.com. If you ever want to see the live results over at ZwiftPower.com, you can do so. It looks like Marcher actually has a DQ right off the bat there. Not sure what's going on with that, but we have a DQ immediately on Marcher, riding for KOM Hunters. Kim Little in there, Adrian Timmins, Burton, Giron, as well as Boniface and Webb. We do see those live results coming through right now. For the D category race, Cooper, it looks like 3.4 watts per kilogram, Sayers 4.2, Ari 3.6, Stevenson 3.3. All of them need to get out of that D category as soon as they can next race. But we do have Cleo, Savage, and Noel all within category limits. Dean as well at 2.9 might drop within category limits. So as far as the actual leaders in this race that are in the correct category, it will be Cleo with a solid effort so far, as well as Savage still at 2.3 watts per kilogram. Noel is there as well. So the actual win will be between Savage and M. Cleo out of South Africa. The other boys will just simply get, I believe, a DQ, as it is. There are no other categories to be able to work within. So Cosper Sayers, they got an A category and a B category next to their name over at ZwiftPower.com. So 2 laps of the flag is going to have 1 to go. Savage currently leading things out right now, it looks like, in this race with a solid 2.3 watts per kilogram out on the Watopia flat course. Right back to the front runners, though, here in the A categories. They make their way over to the flat course now. Webb now 3.0 watts per kilogram. Burton as well. Definitely Grupo Compacto, taking it fairly easy as they make their way through these S turns that we call them before they go past the monument on the Ocean Boulevard. We don't see anybody within striking distance to catch these boys through our camera view there. The chase group is well out of striking reach now, as we do have 1:15 to D. Bailey, who has been caught by a group of riders out there on course, the main chase group out on course. It has gone on to form a chase group of 3 and a group that's trying to hold off Ford as well as Mr. YouTube user T. Watley as well. And then Shuttler, they're trying to chase them down. 20 seconds is the difference. These boys are going to have to work well together with the Mexicano, Bailey, and Pinel hammering away here. Let's go ahead and take a look from the helicopter view. There is the man at the front there, Bailey, pulling away at 5.0 watts per kilogram with the Mexicano 5.0 sitting on the wheel, as well as Pinel Team ODZ coming out of Canada there without the ODZ kit on, though, which is interesting to see. But there they go with 26 seconds over the rest of the crowd. And as we do see from this view, let's see if we can just barely see that 28 seconds. It is actually going out, so I don't think we're going to get a good view of where that 28 seconds is at. But here we go. Not quite at the, can't quite get the group in sights, and it is going away from them at this point. Let's see if we can get a solid look at from this first person point of view. No, still do not see anything, so definitely not within their sights, but they could pull them back in or grab a few out of that group if they keep the wattage high enough and the speed high enough, but I'm not sure they're going to see it from this R Ford first person point of view. I think they've settled in, and the Mexicano man along with Bailey and ODZ do have a good buffer as long as they do not fade too much at this point. They're still fighting for a top 10 position in that group. Webb with an attack, it looks like here from Vision Cycling as they make their way through the Dust Bowl. Out on course, we do have Jiron from the KRT team on that purple Tron bike following that up. Kim Little now 5.8 watts per kilogram, closing things down very quickly here. 3.9 at the back here from the Vision Cycling Quentin the Fay man now. We do have Kim Little now 3.6. Marcher now 5.2 in the group. Jiron going right on by at that 3.2, 3.0 watts per kilogram. Caden Sportsman, Adam Webb there as well, following up. So it is really strung out prior to even hitting that forward Watopia climb that is always usually the race decider for a few in the group who have burned a few too many matches. Interesting little sight here in the D category race as we do have Jay Savage here, who's found himself amongst a large group of ZZRC riders who are doing a 2.5 or 3.0 or less watts per kilogram ride, actually. So perfect little group to find himself amongst here as Savage is hammering away on to his second lap on the course here for the flat D race out there. Dean trying to chase him down as well as Nola. That is your top three in the D race right now. Another ZZRC rider finding some company with Noel as Edwards is just catching back up, so there will be a battle for the third place out there on course. So right back to the A riders as they're making their way over to the climb in just a moment here. Definitely back to Grupo Compacto. Quinn the Fay now bumping it up again, 5.8 watts per kilogram, and then bringing it right back down. Tim is now drafting as well as he possibly can to say it reserves some energy at the front end of this course. Bailey then here with Pinel. Looks like they're all still working well together as they've pulled off a solid another 30 seconds over this chase group, so it doesn't look like this front end of this B group will be seeing the other B riders who are sitting 1-2 right now with the Mexicano as well as Pinel at the front end of the B race. So we are seeing, it looks like, having a little bit of an, yeah, so there's nothing to, Johnny let me know I see it, and I don't think there's anything we can do for some reason. I'll have to take a look and see why, but there are a little bit of FPS drops. Not sure what's going on there, but definitely seeing a high something going on, but we'll have to see what's we'll have to fix that later. So definitely can't respond on the live there, Johnny. So Webb now here 4.8 watts per kilogram. Kim Little as well at 4.1. Marcher, Burton, Boniface. We are seeing Jeering and Timus there as well. So all in this lead group, about to hit that 3.0 watts per kilogram. I'm sorry, not watts per kilogram. 3.0 gradient. About 3% gradient on the kick up toward the forward Watopia climb. 7.0 watts per kilogram coming from Webb early on there. Caden Sports kicking in at 9 now as we see the attacks. And at any moment that they do hit any kind of uphill gradient, they definitely, it's not even like they're trying to take an advantage of being an attack. Actually, a lot of times it is simply just trying to anticipate what's going to happen amongst the other riders and making sure that you're not getting dropped off. So, I mean, anytime that there is any uphill gradient at the front end of the race, there's almost always somebody kicking at least a little bit or some sort of anticipation, and just knowing that riders just tend to want to push it then in order to at least be in some sort of an effort, though. It's almost like they couldn't hold back at those sections. It's definitely an interesting dynamic. Even if they want to hold some reserves, there's always somebody that's going to push it at the front end. Chris is saying D category means everything is slower, right? With a little bit of laughing face there. Termon says got dropped before exiting aquarium, never got back. Rip socks. Sorry to hear that, Termon, that you got dropped out there today. I have to try and get back on terms at some point here, at least with the riders that you are able to stick with out there today. Just go for it. What could be better? Popcorn and TFC on the 50-inch screen TV. Good to see you there, Martin, and thanks for your comment over at the Facebook feed. Let's get a picture, Martin. Tweet it out at Z Community Live. Tweet it out at Z Community Live over on Twitter. We do have right on the bottom of the screen there, right where you can tweet at for any kind of questions, comments, or picks. We'll be able to bring them right on through to the broadcast. All right, this is going to be one of the main race deciders out there today in the TFC Primal Europe TFC race. Cadence Sports now 9 watts per kilogram on this 4% gradient. Now it's going to kick right back up into the teens with 10% now, and it will be Burton up at the front now, 8 watts per kilogram from the TFC rider. Looking over his shoulder, we do see now Kim Little kicking again, 8 watts per kilogram, 9 watts per kilogram coming from him, really getting the legs sharpened for that CVR World Cup coming up here. And it will be Timmis following very closely, Webb there as well. Boniface able to follow now. As we look over their shoulders here, we can see it will be 4 making this initial break. Burton trying to get back on terms with those orange numbers, but he has been dropped off by 1 second now as it flattens out. Cadence Sports now 4.6 watts per kilogram, and now we see Webb now fading as well for just a second, but that's just because of the reprieve that they have, the little bit of reprieve on that 0% gradient, or 2 to 0% gradient right around there. Boniface now kicking one more time for the second half, 7 watts per kilogram right into 8 watts per kilogram coming from Timmis. Burton able to get right back on terms with Quentin LaFay as well, but Giron now unable to hang on off the back with Marcher. These two have been full on dropped from the bazookas going off at the front now. We do see now Boniface taking up the charge with 200 meters to go over the top of the KOM, and this will be again one of the race deciding moments as they make their way through the trees here, and it will be LaFay at the back now, 6 men though, and it will then be over the top Adam Webb with quite the kick to hang on to Mr. Boniface's wheel. Then it will be Boniface now 4.0 watts per kilogram, settling down a little bit. Webb kicking again 7.2, and then Little now just barely able to grab back on. Quentin LaFay off the back here, gonna have to grab Burton's wheel immediately at 180 beats per minute right now. Burton now 4.1. Cadence Sports there with 5.3. Everybody's strung out, nobody holding up. And I've had Boniface actually during my races. He's actually a really good director sportif for them, and he's definitely always attacking. Whenever I've had him in and amongst the races, I've had him saying, "Dude, go kick now, whenever you have a counter moment." And he's the one that tends not to care how much it hurts or not hold back at all when it comes to knowing those moments. If it's a moment that you got to attack, he'll just put himself in the hurt locker to make it happen. So Kim Little now, and it looks like Adrian Timmis and Burton and Quentin LaFay now all together out on course. And we're going to go ahead and close down. We'll take one last look over at the D category race. It looks like it will be Edwards who is able to catch Noel. Savage leading things out now for about a minute up from the rest of the racers. Looks like our FPS has come up a little bit. I'm getting some sort of a FPS drop here. I'm not exactly sure why, but we'll see if we can get it fixed for you guys. Sorry about that. Not exactly sure where that is coming from, but everything seems to be solved up now. So something was giving us some issues there. Not sure what was going on. But Burton now here back at the front now, 5.6 watts per kilogram with Webb now 9.0, able to stick with that wheel. 176 beats per minute. Let's go ahead and look through here and see who's got any kind of heart rate drop to try and reserve some energy here. Boniface at the back, 174. LaFay still 159, sitting in pretty now. Burton 174. Timmis 164. Webb now 143, definitely dropping that heart rate. And then Kim Little 163 or so, definitely suffering here still, I think, at the front end. After a couple dropouts too, if he's able to pull off the W here, I would be really impressed. He's definitely have to burn quite a few matches to be in this race today. And we are seeing quite a few messages coming through over at the Twitch channel. Good to see all you 24 or so of you hanging out there. Looks like we are live over on Beam as well as YouTube right now. And I think the chats are integrated. So you can communicate between all of the chats. Somehow we found ourselves underneath the road there. That was quite the view. I don't know if I've ever seen that view before with the Tron, all the Tron bikes too. That was quite an interesting view with the Tron bikes coming through there. Somebody clip that real quick because that was kind of a cool view actually with the wheels coming through from the shiny bikes there. We do have Tim Sten 4.0 at the front. Everybody back, Grupo Compacto. This is all the strongmen, 6 of them now at this point at the front of the race. Up and out of the saddle, we do have Webb kicking one more time, 8 watts per kilogram, trying to break things apart early without any kind of sprint maybe for the finish. Kim Little now trying to follow very closely, then Burton going again, all of the big wattage, and you can see it is definitely a team tactic with 2 Vision Boys in and amongst the group here. Quinn LaFay was planning on just hanging on the back and getting a draft. He was able to do so a little bit and rest up as Adam was sent off the front, but it was followed up by very quickly by the rest of the racers out there today. And CX Trick saying, holy cramp, as it sounds like he has already raced a couple of times out there today. He's got a big old cramp from the racing. Definitely racing 3 times in a row, it sounds like. Going to be a difficult day out there today. Many watts were expended to bring us to this attack, Steve MZ is saying out there. And definitely Kim Little able to cover that attack, though. And I think it's going to be coming down to a sprint finish. We'll probably see one more attack through the Essies today, and then it will come down to, I'm going to guess it's going to come down to a 3 to 4 up sprint, as a few might not be able to make it through the Essies unless they do not have any kind of serious attack through the Essies. It might be up 6 up, but I'm going to guess that there's going to be one more through the Essies, as there might be 1 or 2 that want to break things apart and not come down to a sprint at the finish. Quentin LaFay, definitely one who's just been sitting in and waiting for the final meters. I have a feeling he's going to have a lot left in the reserves. I've not seen a single attack from Quinton, and Webb has been the one who's been off the front. It looks like Vision has a plan here today to set up Quinton for the final sprint. Kim Little, will he be able to follow the moves after 2 dropouts and then a huge effort to get back on terms at the front of this race? Burton able to follow every single move, and he's kind of been the one to close the gaps today for everybody out there on course. So Burton, will he have anything left after closing all those gaps and pulling the group back together over and over again? So there is the man from the TFC. So it's TFC, ODZ, Brett Boniface. Haven't seen him in a race in quite a while. He's been doing a lot of in real life racing. I do follow him on Instagram and a few other places, and we've seen a lot of real life racing through his speeds, and now jumping back into Zwift here for a beginning of the summer race here out on Zwift. Will he be able to grab another win out here today? Let's go ahead and take a look at his past races over the last few weeks. We have no past races in the last 2 weeks, so definitely not a whole lot of racing. The last PRS second place. So it wasn't showing up. It wasn't showing up in the feed, but he does have a win on the 27th and then back on the 19th. The XRS actually on a Tuesday. He's been doing a lot of WBR and PRS, so I just haven't seen him in the races I've been covering. He did do the Kiss Europe back on the 11th though, so that was the last time he did a race that we were covering. So just different times that he's been racing than what we've been covering. So lots of racing actually coming from Brett Boniface. So solid race though, it looks like in the PRS just prior to this one, took a second place doing the back-to-back racing today, and now a 10 watts per kilogram coming from the rider Kim Little up at the front. Webb now as well. Kim Little now kicking at 9 watts per kilogram. They're all following very closely. Will they all be able to hang on? Look at how strung out it is now out on course here today, and will be Kim able to follow, hanging on to Brett's wheel. Brett now following very closely then too. It looks like Timus's wheel, and it will be off the front though. Webb just by a little bit, but then at the back, Quilton and Faye now resting up a little bit. The 172 beast per minute, not up into that 180. 168 coming from Kane Sports. Burton now 181. Boniface 174. Little now up toward the front, 168 now. As you can see, they're all back together. That 5% grade, not breaking anybody off just yet, and I don't think we're going to see anybody fade. They're all going to hang on unless somebody really kicks one more time as they make their way through the SE's 2-day. There's the pack. You can see it's strung out. You can see the little gaps opening up, but they're all able to hang on as they head into this last 1K. And who's it going to be? Let's hear your predictions here as they head into this final 1K. Who is going to win? We've got Burton, Little, Webb, Boniface, Caden Sports, Adrian Timister, Quentin LaFay as well. So Burton, Little, Boniface, Webb, LaFay on the final 1K today. Timus as well. Don't forget about him. So Hart says Burton. Head says Kim Little. Martin saying Brett Boniface out there today. We'll see if that prediction is right. And we're seeing a go Brett Boniface from Martin, actually. So we'll have to see. He's saying Head says Burton. Hart says Burton. Kim Little is from the others. So Scotty Weiss is saying, watching Z Community Live on the go as I prepare to leave for London. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome here. Look at this. And from Mr. Scotty Weiss, watching at Z Community Live on the go as I prepare to leave for London later today. CVR World Cup, Team Experimental, Katrina Weiss. Good to see you. That's so awesome there. Now we're getting right back into the action, though, as we see his teammate, Kim Little, for Team Experimental on the front, actually, kicking it really early with 13 watts per kilogram coming from Mr. Kim Little on the front, but he's pulling everybody away from the rest of the group. He's got a 1-second gap. Webb's trying to follow it up with Brett Boniface right on his wheel. Look at the three strongmen going away. This is such an early attack, boys and girls. Will they be able to hold off, though, all the way to the line? Webb has got a huge kick in the 7 watts per kilogram. Brett Boniface coming on with 10 watts per kilogram from way out. Now kicks it into 14. What is this? Brett Boniface from way out. Webb trying to follow Kim Little, unable to go anywhere, and it's going to be Boniface. Webb, Little across the line. What an attack from way out. Kim Little let it out from way out, like 500 meters to go. I think it was just too much. And then it was Boniface who slowly ramped it up little by little and then kicked at 14 just across the line there. What an attack. What an effort there. We did just see Savage there crossing the line as well to take the win in the D category. But what an attack there from Little, but unable to hold off the rest of the riders. Now coming to the line, it will be Marcher with Giron. Where's the attack here from Giron? I don't know if he's going to be able to hold off Bailey, as here comes Bailey from that KRT team up in the 8 watts per kilogram, but it will be Bailey actually from the TFC, 9 watts per kilogram, with Giron from the KRT trying to kick across the line and nip him, but will not be able to do so. A little bit too little, too late for those next spots in the top 10 today. What an effort there all across the line. We are seeing hidden Australia E-Crit course for Go Zwift was just spotted on Zwift Community Live. Oh my gosh, what a great tweet. Look at this one. And Jonathan Nobbit now, hidden Australia E-Crit course for Go Zwift was just spotted on Zwift Community Live. The down under course for Nice. Absolutely loving it. And so that will be the Down Under course that was spotted there. Great little, definitely somebody needs to grab the Twitch clip for that, as that was a great one. Noah now in the D category race, just making his way across the line. Nice job to him, as they are finishing up, I believe, somewhere in the top 3 today for that D category race. Moving our way back now, we do see it will be for the B category. Mexicano battling it out against Pinal. I think they were trying to chase down that Bailey group, so this will be for a top 3 position or 4 position out there today in this B category race. We do see then it will be, though, for this will be actually for the win, actually, I think, in the B category race, actually, as we do have Mexicano battling it out here to the line, goes super early, right past all those ZCRC boys. Will Pinel be able to get through them and right on past? Looks like we got a ZCRC boy sprinting it out for fun against them. Pinel able to grab enough watts to get away from Mexicano, it looks like, to the line and take the win in the B category today. Solid effort all around. We can add it to the ZLC bloopers reel along with Karen. Hi, good morning. More Australian facts. Susie Shaman, good to see you in the broadcast today. And potential Archer's finishing position. Yeah, that's a good one too there, Chris. I like that. Very good one. Looking backwards, we're going to see if we can find the front end of the C category out there today as we move back. Definitely. We also do have a D rider here, Savage. Nice job to him. I think he finished up already out there today for his race. Solid ride for Savage. I think he won the D race, so nice job to Savage as he cools down out there today. If you're just joining in or we're looking for more Zwift Community Live broadcast later today, we do have later today Zuskana's ride, workout ride, so make sure to tune in for that. That will be coming up. Who's winning the 2C minus B plus X category? T. Williams says. I'm not exactly sure, but we do have Watley making his way to the line here, just crossing, it looks like, ahead of a few others in that B category. Nice and solid effort coming from him. Moving backwards, we do have Garrido as well, giving us, it looks like, where is Clayton? And where is the rest of that 2BC plus minus Pythagorean theorem out on course? I'm not sure, but we do have VO Crown as well as Keith D battling out with the Timo DZ boy. Termont now kicking it into 8 watts per kilogram, trying to catch those riders just ahead of him, but now dropping down to 0.174 beats per minute. Not sure he's been able to catch Keith D from the watts per kilogram team out on course today. It looks like Brett E with solid effort, 8.3 watts per kilogram. Keith D trying to get on wheel, but now the gap's already there. Will he be able to do so? 8-9 meters. Not going to be able to catch him unless he's got some killer orange watts per kilogram. He's still got 6.1 though. Closing it down slowly, but I'm not sure it's going to happen as that helicopter view is giving us a good view as to how many meters are between them. Keith's still closing the gap. Will he be able to make it happen right at the line? And it looks like it's just going to be a meter too short or so. Now it's going to be Termont now coming to the line here, 1.0 watts per kilogram. It doesn't have to battle against anybody, it looks like, to the line. It will be Bordeaux maybe then leading out the C category here with Winsper right on his tail. Stockvik now 24 seconds back, it looks like, as those TFC boys always have a solid showing in that C category. Bordeaux now leading out Winsper. Winsper sitting on that wheel. Winsper always a strong one in that C category. Definitely one to be watching out for today. Not today, did yesterday. What's going on here? Shum losing the 2C minus B group. It says, good to see you, Shum, with a sense of humor in the chat today. Doe, you missed my sprint. Sorry, Crosshair. Apologies. So looking over at the Facebook, we did have a few comments there about the ZZRC as well from Mr. Martin Jorkvik saying that's great to have us up on the 50-inch screen. Looking now, it looks like Winsper was dropped off by 2 seconds. I think he got caught up in the ZCRC group. Will he be able to get back on terms with Bordeaux, who's got 1 second over him? It is only 8 meters. Winsper's got quite the kick, it looks like. And looking through here, it looks like he's right back on terms with Bordeaux. Might go flying right on by. It looks like he does just that, as Bordeaux is unable to grab that wheel as he goes by. Kicks into 9 watts per kilogram. He got caught off guard, it looks like, but it looks like he's got 10 now with 100 meters to go. He's not in sight, though. There he comes, and it looks like you will be able to nip Winsper right at the line. Perfect timing there as they come through for that C category and the win for Bordeaux. Looking back now, who's going to be taking second place? A lot of ZZRC riders making their way to the line. I'm not seeing it. Will be Stockvik perhaps, or maybe Paceline. Is he a part of the C category? I'm not sure. 10 watts per kilogram coming from Stockvik, though, who's always got a good kick in that C category. All right, I think that's going to be it then for our coverage. Let's go through, at least for the coverage of the race live racing. We can go through the results, though, as we've got for the A category, we do have Brett Boniface with the win over Adam Webb, followed by Kim Little, who had that huge lead out to the riders there. Adrian Timmis then looks like for fourth, followed by Quentin LaFay, who's a B rider, it says. Interesting. But fifth place goes to Quentin LaFay, Matthew Burton, David Bailey. Wolfgang Marcher hit the DQ. Sorry to hear that. Wolfgang Marcher will be eighth place for Jonathan Guerin, followed by Simon Pinel for a top 10 overall. Pinel takes, it looks like, a B category win, followed by Chin Young Mexicano for second place, Andrew Shuttler for third out there today. But Chin Young does get an upgrade to the A category, actually. So Robert Ford maybe gets a better placing there into third place for that B category. Tom Waitley, followed by Francisco Garrido, rounding out the top 5 today. And then in the C category, we did have Colin Clayton, but C plus 2B minus actually is a B rider, though, and gets an upgrade into the B category. 3.5 watts per kilogram. Not sure what B minus is. Just because you can't follow the dynamic power doesn't mean you get to put out 3.5 watts per kilogram, but that was a good try with the maths out there today. So it will be Dave Perdue for win, followed by David Winsper in that C category, both riding for the TFC. Paul Eddie Stockvik for third place today out there as well. Definitely want to say a huge thank you to Primal Europe for the support of the Friday Criterium, and a thank you to all the Friday Criterium management out there that helps put all of this together. As always, a big, huge congratulations to all of the riders. What's coming up on the Zwift Community Live Network? We have Zuskana's ride tonight, 10 p.m. CST. So that'll be coming up in about 8 hours from now, a little over 8 hours from now. Then we do have, obviously, the CVR World Cup. Now, you guys, the CVR World Cup is already scheduled on our Facebook. It's already scheduled on our Twitch. And so you can hit that events tab above me and find the CVR World Cup events and get a reminder for when the event will go live. So it will tell you 1 hour before it goes live. It'll tell you when it goes live. So make sure to go get your reminder over on Twitch. You can also follow it for a reminder on our Facebook as well. So if you want a reminder on the Facebook, it's already scheduled there as well. Go to our Zwift Community Live Facebook and scroll down until you find the event. It might be the pin post at this point. I have to double check that. And then hit the reminder for when it goes live on Facebook as well. So the CVR World Cup we will be leaving for on Sunday. Me and Lindsay will be flying out. There's lots of hype going on around it, lots of fun videos and stuff and posts all over the place, lots of talk. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you later tonight for the Zuskana workout ride, 10 p.m. CST. See you guys soon. And as always, ride on.
We gonna go.